Hello? Hello, everyone. Do you hear me? Oh, okay. Let's check the sound whether you hear me, right? I do believe that everyone, okay. Is everything fine? I do believe that everything is fine. Okay, so let's start. My name is Olga, and today I'm going to talk about practice study habits. I do believe they will definitely help you to become more successful. First of all, I would like to start that with the information about your learning style, because actually we all have our own natural tendency for retaining new information, and there are four main learning styles that exist. So if you're a visual learner, then you definitely learn best by seeing. So this category responds well to diagrams, color coding, video, and patterns. Auditory learners learn best by listening. So they respond well to audio cues like speech, music, rhymes, and other sounds. Reading writing learners can learn best by reading and writing the material they need to study. Kinesthetic learners retain information best by doing. They enjoy role playing, building models, drawing diagrams, making flashcards. So they need to put concepts into practice in the real world. So today, actually, we are going to cover just some practical pieces of advice that will help you guys, with information you perceive that must be solid somehow, right? And if you respond well, for example, to visual cues, so of course you need to draw up mind maps, use color extensively in your note taking. So I do know that quite a lot of people use, for example, colorful markers to highlight the words that will be quite useful for them while getting ready for exam. If you're an auditory learner, so try creating rhymes to remember facts, listen to podcasts about any topic you want to. Reading writing learners will definitely find traditional study a lot easier than other learners. For example, because these people tend to spend quite a lot of time reading the relevant textbooks and making study notes. Again, but there are some other learners who are kinesthetic learners, and they do find traditional study the most difficult, and they are likely to excel at more practical subjects with the opportunity to put together directly into practice. So, to put learning directly into practice, sorry, just slip of my tongue again. So, the first thing that you should practice is try to study in different environments. So research actually shows you can focus better by regularly changing your study locations. So the theory is that studying material in a variety of places helps your brain build up different associations in relation to the material you study. The next tip that you need to follow is to set regular study time and stick to it. So it can make your general study plan a lot more manageable too. So plan your study time in advance instead of hoping it will happen somewhere in between your social life and classes. So by creating a set studying timetable and putting it into your calendar, you create commitment and routine. So you should become a creature of habit. You see, well, if you repeat just doing the same thing over and over again, it won't be so difficult. You will just stick to this plan and follow it. So the next tip that I strongly recommend you to do is to eliminate potential distractors before your study session starts. Like eliminate anything that might cause your mind to wander. So what does it mean? So first, gather everything you need. Having to wander somewhere else to collect your notes or important textbooks is an easy way to get sidetracked. So keep everything and don't just try just to eliminate all distractors. listening to music. You know what? I've heard quite a lot of examples concerning listening to music in particular. And you know what? Um, Still, it may be helpful, but not about exams. I mean, try to eliminate distractions. It just that's what I feel, for example, due to my experience. So then maintain a study planner with deadlines and try to prioritize all your assignments. So like for writing an essay, you should give yourself some time. I mean, like 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Devote time to the most important things that must be done just within some time. So mark down deadlines for every assignment and set advanced reminders so you don't lose track. So try to sort out the best sequence for working on all projects, on all assignments that you have. So you know what? It's easy to procrastinate on work you find difficult or boring. So you might want to tackle those ones first and save your more pleasurable assignments for last. Even on a daily basis, it makes sense to tackle your hardest subjects first while your mind is still fresh. So keep your planner, please. It really it makes sense. So take more useful notes. You know, in this way, I would like just to share such quotation that I've heard once. It was about concentrating on concentrating. So, I mean, sometimes we should make a conscious effort to pay attention to the lesson, to the assignment, and completely absorb what's being communicated. So, you know what, in this way, well, we should concentrate on things which really demand our concentration, right? The next thing that I want to just to follow is developing a note-taking technique. Perhaps if you're a visual learner, for example, you can draw diagrams that help you understand the material covered. If you're an audio listener, so try writing down what you hear again. So you can use some abbreviations, some symbols for quicker note taking. So well, try to write down all those ideas which you think uh, might be helpful for your speaking and writing. One more tip that I would like to share with you is active recall while studying. So you know what? It's very helpful, even just to set an alarm clock. I mean, just to remind yourself that you need to recall something. Let me explain what I mean. When you learn something, well, it just it's not enough to write down the words and the translation or the meaning, right? And even if you write the synonym, the antonyms, but sometimes you need to visualize this word, the situation, this particular word or word combination can be used in. I mean, you may just even close your eyes and try to recall the fact or concept from your memory. Again, flashcards can be quite helpful. You can write the word and just then try to give the explanation of this word over and over again. So quite a lot of cards, quite a lot of explanations, quite a lot of definitions. In this way, you practice your speaking. Break the next tip that I would like to share with you is to break that horrible habit of multitasking. I, frankly speaking, I don't believe in multitasking. I think that when you study, it's very tempting to, well, the problem, let me explain what I mean. Well, the real problem is when attention is spread out, your brain doesn't fully engage on anything. So still, the quality of work you produce starts to drop. So if there's someone sitting next to you and just if there's someone in the room and this particular person is watching TV or listening to music, again, this particular person can be a distractor, right? And while watching TV, you are trying to write your essay, it won't work at all. Just forget about it. Keep the multitasking habit, and you'll find yourself with much more energy to hit just any assignment. Okay, one more habit that I really love, it's teach someone. You know what? If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. So putting yourself in the role of teacher, whether with a friend or in a study group, or you will force yourself to structure and clarify the subject, not only in your student's mind. I mean, it can be either your kid, your husband, or father, mother, but in your own as well. So the best way to explain something is just to teach this person. So let it be your kid. Just explain a couple of rules to your kid. Or let it be your husband. So teach him a couple of words, or give the explanations. Even if he doesn't know what they mean, just it's not about teaching itself. It's about your attempts to recall the information and trying to give just the keywords, the basics for everybody to understand. All right, let's move on. Well, you know what? That the most important thing actually, when just we forget almost 80% of information, just like well, 80% of information can be lost within 24 hours of initial learning. And you know what? The best the best plan actually how to cope with this particular problem is to follow a procedure. Like according to the Brain book that was written by Peter Russell, as far as I remember, there was like a plan due to which you have to revise the information just well, for example, as soon as the lesson finishes, you need to revise the information that was given during this particular lesson. So it's a 5-minute review at the end of any study period you have. Then you should have a quick review 24 hours later, and a further review 1 week later. So you should revise information 3 times, even more than 3 times. So firstly, just in 5 minutes, so a 5-minute review, 5 to 10 minutes after the end of the study period, a quick review 24 hours later, and a further review 1 week later. So you can set even an alarm clock to remind yourself to do this. And you know what? It works. Because when you study new words, perhaps just if you don't use them, you will definitely recognize them, but well, you won't use them in your speech. And to practice it, first you need just to make up sentences with this particular word or word combination, and again, you should revise them again and again and again. And you know what, at first it will be rather time consuming, but just in some time you will realize that it's not so difficult. It's not a daunting task at all. You can easily handle it. So, well, the fastest way to build a powerful vocabulary is to study how words fit together into chunks of language instead of focusing on individual words. For example, let's take the word decision. So, decision, just a simple word. But then we create a chunk, right? Verb plus noun, to make a decision. Then we need to make it bigger, like to make a decision about something, about a job, about a university course. Then we add more words like rush into making a decision about. So we make it bigger, right? Okay, let's add more words. Take your time before you rush into making a decision about a job. You know what? It really helps. It really helps because it's not about one word, but you do know what are the words to use in order just to make up a sentence then. So the more chunks of language you can learn, the more flexible your speaking, your writing will be in the exam. So again, it's just a habit. If you do, at first it will be hard. Again, I have already told you that, but at first it will be hard. But you know what? Then in some time you will realize that it's not a problem at all. It will be your habit. You will use it. All your words will be structured. Okay. So, well, let's take the verb mix. Mix with new people, mix with different people. And by the way, you can record the chants. It's very good practice as well because sometimes we need to hear something several times and we will just use this word in particular. Again, it depends on what kind of learning style you have. Just that's what I gave you at the beginning. So whether you're a visual learner or an auditory learner or a reading writing learner or kinesthetic learner. So everything makes sense. Again, that's why, for example, during English lesson, actually all kinds of work are preferable, right? So we have reading, writing, listening, just because you perceive this information, you absorb it, you acquire new information, new knowledge, and you will just then you will use it in your speech. Okay, so let's move on. So in this way, well, you do know that there are many fixed expressions in English, and learning and using them can make your English seem more natural, and it will help improve your score. Again, for example, let's take for example, just career prospects or job satisfaction or job security or working long hours. So again, so you when you know what just to practice the usage of these fixed phrases, I strongly recommend my students to do the following thing. When you go outside, actually, generally we are surrounded by non-native speakers, right? Actually, we are lucky we are surrounded by native speakers, but unfortunately, so we have lack of speaking, right, on regular basis, and sometimes we really need to speak more. In this way, I suggest my students doing the following. When you go out, try to describe everything you see outside. Just every small detail must be described, just in English. Describe everything you see, a nice blue dress, or I don't know, just a car, the house, everything you see outside. And if you can't translate something, so write down this word in your notebook. So write down the word that you couldn't translate. And when you come back home, and if you have just a dictionary with you, you can look up this word in the dictionary and use it. But again, be careful with it. Why? Just it's not about knowing the word in particular. You should know the meaning. You should know the synonyms and the collocations this word is used with. All collocations with this particular word. Again, so write down new vocabulary in a special notebook organized into categories. So words can go into more than one category. For example, commercial can be used as an adjective to describe a district in the city, but also film, a book which has been produced with the aim of making as much money as possible, and stuff like that. Well, if you're not sure if a phrase is grammatically correct, for example, enter it into an internet search engine, so like you can check it. You'll probably see from the search results whether or not your version is correct. So you can look up the same word in the dictionary or the phrase, or you may just turn to the dictionary of collocations, right? Oxford Dictionary in particular one. So I do use it from time to time, actually, and I strongly recommend my students to use it. Well, so it's really helpful. So for each IELTS topic, have a page or even two in your notebook where you write down useful vocabulary. So you can use then these notes to revise each topic before the exam. It will be quite helpful. So a good way to improve the accuracy of your vocabulary in particular is to learn common collocations of keywords, right? So collocations are words which naturally go together. Even when you are to write the essay, of course, you won't have an opportunity to look up a word in the dictionary during the test, but you can do it just while practicing. So before you start writing the essay, look through and find all possible collocations with this word and write them down again. So you have to build your bank of words and phrases. So like just try to make up a list of synonyms to the words you learn. A very good habit is just to write a word, then synonyms in brackets, the usage, the explanations in English, the explanation in English. It's maybe time consuming, I realize, but if you do it several times, then it won't be so hard. Again, so let me just give you a couple of examples. Let's take leisure activities. So, just to say that you do something in your free time, you may say just have fun, relax with, unwind, right? Sit back, go for, and stuff like that. The same concerns when we talk about likes and dislikes, right? So we do know quite a lot of expressions to express our preferences or our likings and dislikings. So I think that we do like doing. So like I adore, I'm obsessed with, I'm keen on, or I'm a big fan of. So all these synonyms, if you, the same concerns descriptive adjectives. When you describe something, you should know a couple of them. And by the way, whether it collocates with that noun that you want to collocate it with. So again, it's just a matter of practice. So, okay, the next thing that I would like to share with you is word building. Because, it's very important to know the different forms of a word, in particular the noun, adjective, and verb form. So you should have a section of your notebook, or it must be either a page or a couple of pages, so it's up to you, where you write down different forms, different word forms. So as you do word building practice, try to notice the patterns at the end of words as well. So another way to increase the range of your vocabulary is to use prefixes. So prefixes are added at the beginning of words to create new meanings, right? So like over, under, semi, right? So, you should, for example, I can give you just a couple of examples, like to be overworked, overcrowded, undervalued, underpaid. So using, if you do know the derivative, it will be easier for you to make your speech more vivid, right? More informative. So the same, as for prepositions, all teachers are asked the question concerning learning the prepositions, right? And verbs plus prepositions, then adjectives plus preposition. Just unfortunately, it's better just to learn them by heart. Using the wrong preposition is a very common error, you know this, and always using the correct preposition can make a big difference to making your English sound more advanced. But you have to learn them by heart again. So devote some time to learning. No multitasking. You're very concentrated, and just cover 5-10 words, verbs, adjectives, and learn them again. So you should make up the sentence that starts with I, like let's take, for example, depend on, right? Depend on money. Then people tend to be dependent on money or something like that. So just make up the sentence with that particular verb plus preposition and practice, practice, and practice. I used actually in the example the adjective, perhaps that was not correct, but again, because I was talking about the verb plus preposition, but again, it's about derivatives as well. So you should know how to make up the verb from the adjective and again the noun and other parts of speech. So in order just to get to know how to give your ideas in a logical order and just how to you need to practice speaking again, and it's better to describe everything you see. So giving your ideas in a logical order will help your talk to flow more smoothly, and it will demonstrate your ability to organize, to present your ideas effectively, and stuff like that. Well, again, just a couple of tips perhaps concerning speaking sections. So you know what, I do have quite a lot of them, and I was trying to find out the best, but again, perhaps next time I will talk about other tips that are quite useful as well. So I would like to devote our time just to speaking itself. You know what, try to practice a 2 minute speaking at home. I mean, it's important to choose a subject you can talk about for up to 2 minutes without running out of ideas. I mean, manage the time, set the time, and you know, you will see what the result is. Then I strongly recommend you to write some notes, so convert your notes into a written answer. So make notes on each of the separate parts of the task that you need to cover, then convert your notes into a written answer, and then try to speak about 2 minutes again. And you know what? The result will be different. So it proves that we really need to practice more, right? It's just a matter of practice, as I told you before. So when it's just spontaneous talk, it has one result. But if you have some time to prepare yourself, right, just to prepare your speech, then it will be absolutely different. That's why you have to practice more, more and more and more. Even just talk to someone who doesn't speak who doesn't speak any foreign language. But it's not just about his knowledge; it's about you. It's about you because you make up the sentences, you are trying to express yourself, even it can be just a sentence or a command or anything, or just a description of something. It's your attempt, and it will be valued in some time. It will be quite rewarding. So again, please practice pronunciation because you do know it makes sense. So poor pronunciation is a common reason for getting a disappointing result in speaking tests. So you need to practice, 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 and you have to open your mouth and do not speak through your teeth, do not mumble. Make sure you have pronounced the ends of words or sentences. You do not swallow sounds. And you know what? In this way, recording yourself will be quite helpful. I do it from time to time as well. You know what? When you speak, you think that your pronunciation is okay, but as soon as you hear what you are trying to say, it's absolutely different. We criticize ourselves, clear, and you will spot the mistakes even which you will have made. So actually, pronunciation must be practiced as well. It's just a matter of practice. So please check the words, the pronunciation. Well, and it's okay to write pronunciation, to repeat a couple of times the same word. Experts say that the word should be pronounced at least 7 times. The same concerns vocabulary, any new words that we learn, or any word combination, any phrase, actually, it can be repeated 7 times. Okay, but I think 3, 4 will be enough as well. At least you must produce the sentence, not to copy it from somewhere because it won't have any sense. It won't have any sense at all. Um, okay, so, and actually, remember that 25% of your score will be for grammar. So pay attention to what you say, to endings while you're not in a rush again. So be sure to practice your grammar and get your tenses right. So lots of tenses, conditionals, modals, right? The same concerns prepositions. So verbs in English fit together in different ways. It's very important to learn how they work to improve the accuracy of your writing and speaking for the exam. So either it's verb plus gerund or verb plus infinitive, or we need to use the object. So when you copy the word, the unknown word, try to use only English explanation. Russian translation or Ukrainian translation do not have that positive outcome as, for example, English explanation. So try to learn the words using English explanation in particular. So Okay, so let's just summarize what I have shared with you. So today we were talking about effective study habits. Again, so if you do know what your learning style is, it will be quite helpful to find out something useful for you. I mean, well, whether to use the diagrams or just mind maps, that will be helpful. Again, practice, well, study in different environments because it helps. We just when we study in different places, we do generate some new ideas, and well, it helps us. Well, our brain builds up different associations, so it has been proved by scientists. Then don't forget to set regular time for yourself. I mean, try to stick to it. Devote your time, for example, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and without, well, try not to postpone this time. So it must be scheduled. So even just set an alarm clock just to remind yourself, like a friendly reminder. Then eliminate all distractors. Eliminate. So try to ask to leave you alone. At least try. So I know it's hard. It can be hard, but again, so no distractors. So maintain your study planner with deadlines and useful notes. So pay attention to what you write. Please categorize the information that you write. Let it be in English only. So use collocations. Uh, they really you really need them, not only for speaking but for writing as well. Okay, and active recall. I mean, so revise the information over and over again. So after the lesson, then in 24 hours and in a week. So then you can repeat the same information in a month, but let it be only three options here. And of course, no multitasking. Try to be concentrated on what you're doing. Okay, so thank you for uh, so thank you for your attendance. I do believe that it was helpful for you. Hope to see you next time. All right. So thank you. Bye bye.